Congratulations, your interviews are done and now it's time to synthesize. Sometimes synthesis is easy. The participants have practically handed you a big insight on a silver platter, and other times you've got to do more work to connect the dots and figure out what the problem you're going to solve is. A great way to begin your synthesis is to start by doing a debrief on each person you interviewed one by one. The reason to do that is normally you're interviewing maybe 8 different people in a row, and it's like smelling perfume or tasting wine. After a while, it gets really hard to tell the difference between them. So if you stop and go through each one, what that might look like is someone who is taking notes on behalf of the group says, okay, so we met Kevin and he was the runner that had 2 dogs. And you remember he was really religious about recording all of his runs in that app. Heads are nodding, everybody's remembering who Kevin is. Now we go and we talk not exhaustively about everything we put on a post-it, but we talk about the interesting things we found from that. So remember, our goal is to get to synthesis. So we might talk about any contradictions, some surprises, some stories that he told us. And we're gathering case facts, but we're also allowing ourselves to begin to intuit some. So I might say, Kevin, when it came to flossing, Kevin seemed like he was more interested in doing the job right than doing it fast, although I think he'd really love to find a way to do both of those things. So as you go through your board person by person, that's your first step. Now that you have talked about everybody, you want to start regrouping your post-its from people to themes. I want to show you guys what this might look like in practice on your board. Here are some post-its that we might have collected if we were the ones doing the Shimano project. And as we looked at these, we said, these are all kind of negative things about the bike we showed them, or at least biking the way it is now. The gears on the bike, no one wanting to test drive it, the seat, the outfits. And so we're finding a common theme there, that it's intimidating. And so we're just putting that theme. But we also heard stories from people's childhood, and in their childhood, it was simple and fun. This is a great example of the dynamic tension that we were talking about, where people tell you something, sorry, it's hard to type and talk at the same time, where they tell you something that seems to be in conflict with each other. But what a great conflict that we have here. So people no longer bike because it's become intimidating. Now, you could probably, just bear with me because you could probably craft your defined statement right now, but I want to introduce you guys to another tool called the empathy map. It's a really good one to have in your arsenal. And let's just play it out with this Shimano example. So the goal here is to start on the left side, reflecting what you heard people say and what you saw them do. And the way I like to do it is just to summarize essentially something that represents that. So in this case, we might put what people said is, whoa, it's intimidating. Not even really worrying about. So they said that it's intimidating, and what were they doing? We talked about bringing the bike out, offering for them to take a test drive. Nope, no interest. They don't want to test drive it. So, yep, those are our more analytical things. Now we're going to move to the right side and give ourselves some intuitive leaps. So what do you think was in the thought bubble for those participants? Maybe they were saying it, and maybe it was inferred. And then if that were you, how do you think they would be feeling? Maybe it was this: I'll look like a fool. Are you kidding? Squeezing myself into that spandex outfit and trying to hop on this complicated thing. I'll be crashing in front of everyone in 5 feet. So now that you're in more of your empathetic territory, it should be a very short step to define that as the need that you want to solve and the insight behind it. In this case, I think we could say that it is as simple, which oftentimes is the case. You can begin to question yourself here because in hindsight, insights often are just very simple and clear. So they need a way to make biking fun again because it's become too complicated, right? So, and I'm not overthinking this. I can come back and work on this later, but you get the idea. And so I want to show you on your boards how this connects. So this empathy map, which is on your boards, is right below this step 2 of define. So now right here in my board, I can go and type in, they need a better way to, in my because, through the bike cruiser market. And how fun is this bike? If you put that in front of me, there's no way I wouldn't hop on and go for a spin.